Okay. 3, 2, 1, begin now. Hello there, everybody. This is General Snivy, and welcome back to more of the Mega Man X playthrough. And no, I did not intentionally miss the word blind, because I have some explaining to do. First off, first order of business is this part of the playthrough is no longer blind. Last week I streamed this game and I managed to finish it, but the thing about it was, after I finished and beaten the game, I was not satisfied with the way the stream turned out. I will go ahead and admit this now. I abused the ever-loving crap out of save states and the rewind feature. And because of that, I felt really, really dirty. I just felt horrible for abusing those things. It really hurt my pride as a gamer, and because of that fact, I decided to say screw it. I'm not going to upload that particular stream to YouTube, and I'm letting it serve as a lesson for me. And that is, if I'm going to take on a game like this is probably one of those games, or even the entire series like this is like one of those games that should not be taken on blind at all. So, because of that, I did some practicing up this past week. I practiced up on the Robot Masters, and I practiced against the final boss as well, aka Sigma. And I've also learned, and really I also looked up a guide on obtaining all the upgrades that are available in the game. So, after memorizing all the locations, I decided to do a recording and show all of the locations of all the upgrades that are available in the game. So, with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and get things started. We're going to go ahead and pull up this video, and we're going to be watching this first. Let's do it. After I mute my TV, of course, and I'm also going to be muting the gameplay, so that's not overthrowing the background, at least for the time being. So, here we go. I also apologize for the fact that the gameplay is also kind of quiet, and, okay, hang on, folks. It looks like, VLC media player's kind of messing up here, so let's go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and fix this right now, so that way, window capture, sure, let's just call it that. Alright, let's try this again momentarily. Need to resize this first. Scroll it, let's just leave it like this. This ought to do it. Alright, here we go again. Okay, what the hell's going on? Why is the video not visible? What the hell? Okay, this is strange. This is really, really strange. VLC media player. You know what? Screw this. I'm going to try a different tactic. I don't know what's going on with the VLC media player. I don't know why it's not showing on the OBS. I mean, I'm able to play the video just fine, but I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try, instead of window capture, I'm going to try desktop capture. So display capture, that'll work. So you kind of can see everything on my first monitor here. So let's see if this will work. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Here we go. Again. Alright, the first thing I'm going to be showing off here is one upgrade that is a heart container. After you freeze up Flame Mammoth's stage, slide all the way to the right within this prospector room, and bada bing bada boom. Just grab the health tank and there you go, it's right there. Speaking of Flame Mammoth, after grabbing his weapon and after the first mech section, hop on top of this area here and blow up these bunkers. The second bunker will yield you another heart container. I don't even know what those things are called, but there you go. That's what they are. That's what I'm sticking with. Alright, next thing I'm going to be showing off is a capsule. This capsule I never even knew about until I decided to, hey, why don't I explore a little bit more of the stage? So I kind of stumbled across this on my own before looking up the walkthrough. So in order to get here, just blow up that flammable tank with the flamethrower weapon, and here's the upgrade. This capsule contains an enhancement for your helmet, which will allow you to break some ceilings with a headbutt. And by headbutt, he means like slam into the ceiling with your head. Most ceilings don't have breakable obstacles, but some of them do. Personally, I don't really find this particular upgrade all that useful, but it does make a Sting Chameleon stage slightly easier, especially within the cave section, with all the rocks raining down on your head. This will protect you from that, so that's really nice. Alright, next upgrade. We're back in Flame Mammoth stage, and the reason why we're back here is because this particular upgrade only appears if you have not received the arm cannon upgrade from Zero. If you have already grabbed the upgrade, then this capsule will not appear beforehand. This particular capsule is incredibly difficult to get to. You need to be absolutely pixel perfect, and once you manage to hit the wall jump, you need to be at a certain height to make it so you break the first block and you need to continue your ascent. If you slip off, then there's pretty much no way you can get back onto the wall. So it's kind of a one and done kind of deal. So once you're up there, you better be damn sure that you can get up the rest of the way. And that's the reason why I used the rewind feature there, because I did not feel like doing the entire stage over again. This capsule contains a part which will increase the capabilities of your X-Buster. You can use it to fire all types of weapons. By this he means this also unlocks a charging capabilities of all of your additional weaponry, such as Sting Chameleon's Stinger ability, the Frost Shotgun's ability, etc., etc. Basically all the Robot Master's weapons who you acquired up to this point, you can now charge up those abilities for additional firepower and additional abilities. Alright, next thing we're going to be grabbing is another heart container. This one can be pretty difficult to get to, but honestly, just ride the elevator to the top, wait until it reaches like the left-hand side, do a dash, and then jump straight off as soon as humanly possible. And bada bing bada boom, just continue to hold left, take a leap of faith, and eventually you'll reach your destination. Next upgrade is we get, again, back in Flame Mammoth stage, within the Prospector room, like on the far left-hand side, you'll come across this energy tank. This energy tank is actually called a sub-tank. I finally figured out what those things are called, and I finally figured out how to use them. I've also learned some other techniques as well that can help with navigation, and I can't believe I completely missed them as far as figuring out how to use the abilities. Alright, next thing we're grabbing is another sub-tank. This one can be grabbed within the first digger section. Just hop back up onto the wall as the digger begins to claw his way through, and bada bing bada boom, you're good to go. Now for the second digger section, you need to destroy this thing before it reaches a certain point. Otherwise, the upgrade will be completely unobtainable. One way you can destroy this thing extremely quickly is to use the power of Flame Mammoth's weapon, which is like a flamethrower. Use it to destroy the tank really, really quickly. And the upgrade, of course, was another heart container. Now for this heart container, this one can only be obtained once you obtain this stage's weapon. Just stay on the ground and fire the boomerang at a certain position and a certain point, and there you go. That's how you grab the next heart container. Next upgrade we're grabbing is another sub-tank, the third one. The third sub-tank that I've missed throughout this playthrough. This one is located within the Electro stage, and in order to get this, you need the boomerang weapon, and in order to get here, you just, when you come to a fork in the road between two ladders within the first part of the stage, instead of heading up and continuing your way forward through the stage, head down instead. And in order to grab this, you need to manipulate the physics of this boomerang to make it so it fires down without touching the wall. After that, fire and the boomerang should pick up the sub-tank no problem. As for this heart container, this one can be a bit of a pain. You have to fidget yourself just right and wall jump. Wall jump until you reach the platform which the heart container is sitting on, and then jump up and grab the heart container. Another way you can grab it is with the boomerang power-up, but I've not had too much luck when it comes to grabbing it with the boomerang. So, wall jumping, in my opinion, is the way to go. Now for this next upgrade, you need to fill up this stage with water. You can do this by beating Octopops. Destroy him and this level will be filled with water. You won't be able to get that heart container by any other means, so you kind of have to... You have to defeat him, return to Stinkmillion stage, and grab the heart container. Now for this next upgrade, this is the very last upgrade that there is. And while I was editing this footage, the audio, for some weird reason, when I was fast forwarding the footage, it got desync and the sound was taken out, like towards the very end. But as soon as the speed returns to normal, then the footage fixes itself. This next upgrade, how do you get this? This is the very last one. What you have to do is... certain conditions need to be met. First off, you need to grab all the other upgrades in the game, and when you get to this section, you need to ride the final minecart and ride it to the very end, jump off, and not only do you have to jump off, but you also have to kill yourself, believe it or not, and you need to do this up to 4 times. 4 times you need to do that, and the reason why is I have no freaking idea. After the 4th time you KMS, you need to be at full health and ride this coaster all the way to the very end. I recommend using Stinkmillion and its charge ability to ride the coaster's ending segment up here, and then the final capsule will appear. I give you a special present. Now, enter the capsule, please. You may have noticed that Dr. Light was wearing a different outfit. Kind of like a karate outfit. Why is this? Check it out. That is the Hadouken. The same ability that Ryu uses in Street Fighter. Technically Street Fighter 2. But now that all the upgrades have been collected, I was wondering, would Zero have different dialogue if I have all upgrades in hand when he sacrifices himself? And to answer that question, yes he does. He has different dialogue. So after this section, you may be wondering, why am I showing this part of the battle exactly? Why am I showing this? Well, I did figure out Vile's weakness. And I think I looked this up in the walkthrough as well. But Vile's weakness, as far as I'm aware, his weakness is the rolling shield. Just the standard rolling shield is his weakness. So after we go through the dialogue tree and begin the battle, and I managed to defeat him somehow, you will soon see different dialogue as opposed to before. And this was the first line of dialogue I received was before I received X's blaster. The X blaster, whatever the heck the name of the weapon is, it's X's weapon. But anyway, if you have the X Buster upgrade beforehand, then 0 offers different dialogue. Completely different dialogue. And there we go. Vile has been demolished. Now that Vile's been demolished, it's time to check up on poor 0. X, I've taken too much damage. All the repair systems can't handle it. My power is fading fast. Your power is greater than I thought. Maybe you can destroy Sigma. And after this point, nothing else is different, and so this little video here is over. Hooray! There we go. That's done. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that, and I'm going to go ahead and unmute the Elgato. So there we go. We are finally good to go here, and we're ready to start Sigma's Fortress Level 3. Let's begin now. Now, when it comes to the Hadouken, how do you do it exactly? Well, it's basically the same combination that you would do in the vanilla version of Street Fighter 2. And in this case, it's the combination plus the fire button. How you do it is you have to push down, right, and then fire. All within one smooth motion. This ability is incredibly powerful, and it can one-shot many enemies, including the final boss, if it manages to hit him. But in order to use the ability, you need to have just the X-Buster selected, and you have to be at full health. Otherwise, the ability cannot be used. So, with that in mind, here we go. When it comes to this particular stage, or at this particular point in the game, one thing I'm definitely going to try to do is not abuse save states so much. Well, so much for that plan. I was going to try to do a Hadouken and finish him off that way, but sadly that's not going to work. At least not now. I've also managed to memorize all of the Robot Master's weaknesses, so these fights should go very, very smoothly. Whoopsie. Oh, the panic is real. Oh, pfft, really? And there we go. He's dead. Okay. Now you may be wondering, how did I figure out how to use the sub-tanks? Well, how they work is, these sub-tanks, I was thinking they restore weapon energy and only that, but in actuality, no, that is not the case. In actuality, they restore your health. During last week's stream, I complained quite a bit of not being able to restore my health during the Sigma fights. So, after a little bit of digging around, I figured out, yeah, if I want to heal myself on demand, I have to go to the menu, select the sub-tank, and then push the Y button over the sub-tank to use it. I kept trying to heal myself by means of pushing the start button like I would select any other weapon, but the sub-tanks work much, much differently. So, who knew, am I right? That's kind of a pain, but at the same time, I'm glad I finally figured out how to make them work to my favor. Anyway, for Sigma Stage 3, in order to get through this stage, we need to fight the remaining Robot Masters whom we've yet to defeat within Sigma's Fortress. The second person who we need to defeat is Sting Chameleon. First person was Armored Armadillo, which I gotta say, with their weapon weaknesses, these fights go extremely quickly, if you know how to use them properly. So there we go. Sting Chameleon is out. That is awesome. One thing of movement I never even thought about trying, and really I had to look it up online, was apparently you can dash while wall jumping, and this will allow you to traverse over great distances while wall running. How do you, you may be wondering, how do you, wall jump and dash at the same time? Well, you do this by pushing both A and B to jump off the wall and cover your grounds. And another thing I've learned about this boomerang is that it can go through walls, and it can grab any power-ups that are on the ceiling or in inaccessible areas. So, as you've seen with my power-up collecting video that I've made, I managed to use the boomerang quite a bit, though not as much as it needed to be. Alright, ice. Ice is what I need. And that's the ice power-up. Oops. Basically what it does, it creates a sliding penguin shield. Not exactly the most useful of charge abilities. Nothing like the Sting Chameleon's charged ability. That is for damn sure. That's probably one of the best abilities in the entire game. And how does it work exactly? Well, if you charge up Sting Chameleon's power to maximum, you'll become temporarily invincible. How does that work exactly? I really have no idea exactly. If I have to guess, it makes Mega Man, or in this case X, slightly transparent. And so he's able to go through objects, enemies, etc. However, he still needs to stay in contact with solid matter. So, any walls or other obstacles, Mega Man's not invincible. Not too sure about spikes, though. I feel like spikes will still one-hit KO X, no matter what. So that's something to keep in mind. Anyway, as far as this guy's weakness. This guy's weakness is the rolling shield. So you need to blast him with the rolling shield as much as humanly possible. Granted, this is a lot easier said than done due to the fact that Octopops has a tendency to fire projectiles that block the shot. And if you run out of ammo, well, you're kind of stuck with either other weapons or your X-Blaster. But either way, there we go. He's dead. Onward to the next enemy. Now, when it comes to save states, I'm going to go ahead and mention this now. I'm probably still going to use them, but I'm definitely not going to be using the rewind feature. The only time I'm going to be using the save states is for when I'm about to start either a boss, when I'm starting a boss fight, or if I'm down to like my last life and I have no other options. Alright. In order to grab these power-ups that are on the spikes, you have to be at just the right distance and grab the power-ups. And as you can see there, when I grabbed the extra lives, nothing happened. And the reason why is because I figured out what the maximum number of lives is that you can carry. You can carry up to a maximum of 9 lives. Afterwards, you won't be able to collect any more in Storm and Reserve. So that's kind of unfortunate, but even so, 9 lives is more than enough lives to take on Sigma's Fortress without an issue. Anyway, Flame Mammoth is our next boss, and in order to kill him, you need to use the power of wind which still baffles my mind, as that doesn't make any sort of logical sense whatsoever, in order to kill him. Well, granted, you can still beat him without the weapon, but the air weapon is definitely the most effective. It's the most effective weapon of taking him out. Alright, on to the next boss. And here's probably where I'm going to create a save state. If I can reach the SNES comfortably. There we go. This is more of a just-in-case policy, in case things go wrong. Time for this smashing tank boss. This guy can be a pretty big pain in the butt. And the reason why is because of projectile attacks like this. In order to dodge them, you need to wait for the spear to turn purple, start dashing towards the boss, dash towards the boss, and then fire. He also has a tendency to smash his bottom half into the wall and run into you as a result. So anyway, this boss's weakness, I really do not know, but I'd say the X-Blaster is still a really good way of defeating this thing. Funny enough, you can ride the bottom portion of this vehicle, but try not to get squashed. If you get squashed by this thing, 1/3 of your health is gone. So that's kind of lame. Oof, damn. That's a very nasty hit. And when I say 1/3 of your health is gone, this is with the 50% reduction armor. If I have to guess what the normal damage is, without the 50% reduction, it's probably going to be about 1/4. So, a very, very large chunk of your health would be gone after getting squashed. But there we go. That boss is dead. Freaking dead. There we go. We're done. We're done with that guy. And we're done with the Robot Masters as well. So it's time, folks, for the final Sigma stage. There's really only one thing standing between us and beating this game completely. So, let's go. Here we go, Sigma Stage 4. This is the final Sigma stage in the entire game. Within this stage, it's just you and this tall tower. So, what I recommend you do before you ascend to the very top of this tower is just shoot these worms that come out of these holes here. Shoot them. Shoot them and fill up your sub-tanks. Trust me, you are going to need it. You're going to need all 4 sub-tanks if you want to beat this boss smoothly. There are 3 phases when it comes to the Sigma fight. Yeah, 3 freaking phases. And if you die on any one of the phases, you have to restart the entire freaking thing all over again. Which absolutely blows. So back to the very, very beginning. So expect me to use save states at the very beginning of each and every single phase. And the reason why I say this is because I don't really want to start over at any point. Now you may be wondering, what am I doing? Oh, I just mentioned that. I'm filling up my sub-tanks. Anyway, in order to fill up your sub-tanks, what do you have to do? It's very simple. Any health energy pickups that you find and you collect, If you have full health, then that additional health that you pick up goes straight into your sub-tanks. You can also rack up some extra lives here if you really want to, so you don't have to fear so much about getting a game over. But since I am already maxed out at 9 lives, there's really no need. Okay, come on, give me some health, dude. Even if it's... There we go. Even if it's just a little itty-bitty pellet, I would gladly take it. By the way, you may be wondering, how do you know if you filled up one of your sub-tanks or all of them completely? Well, whenever you pick up any health pickups, you will hear a little chime saying, that. So because of that, if you keep hearing that sound, then that means it's filling up one of your sub-tanks. And after you hear another chime that goes boing boing, or something along those lines, you'll hear it yourself very shortly. Maybe not right now, but still. You'll hear it soon. If you used up any sort of weapon energy within any of the parts of the Sigma fight, you can always farm off of these worms and get your weapon energy back that way for all of your weapons that you've used. But since we are just starting the stage fresh, then we don't even need to worry about weapon energy right now. All we need to worry about is filling up our sub-tanks to the maximum. Filling up all 4 sub-tanks that we have. There's only 4 sub-tanks in the entire game, and after you collect all 4, then you're pretty much good to go. Even for the Sigma fight, it can still be a bit bothersome. When it comes to the Sigma fight, though, I am going to try to pull off the Hadouken and try to finish him in one shot. Although, knowing Sigma, it's not going to be very likely. Especially the first part of the fight, it's not going to be likely I'm going to be able to pull it off. But it's going to be worth a shot anyway. Unfortunately, filling up your sub-tanks takes quite a bit of time. So, again, you have to grind these worms until you eventually get all your sub-tanks filled up completely. And since we have, alright, I think this means we only have one more sub-tank that we need to fill. Yep, only one left. One more sub-tank and then we'll be ready to fight Sigma! So, I guess one thing I will go ahead and talk about today is, well, this past week, I've still been working on the pre-employment process for a possible new job, and just yesterday I went for a drug test, and right now I'm just waiting to hear back about the results, which I do believe I passed with flying colors. I mean, I'm not taking anything that's considered subjective or bad. I'm just saying. But I'll probably hear back from my potential new employer on Monday. And the reason why is because drug tests typically take about 48 hours before I know the results. And before I hear back from the company who is looking to hire me. Fingers crossed that everything works out. And with that, all 4 sub-tanks are filled up and ready to go. It's now time to face Sigma. And again, if you want to fight Sigma, just climb to the very top of this tower. Welcome. I see you managed to get here by yourself. Very impressive. I could destroy you, but I would not rob my pet of that pleasure. He knows how to deal with betrayers. Should you live, I will be waiting for you. Don't disappoint me, X. Wow, quite a grudge. Anyway, here we go. Gotcha! Haha! First part down, onward to the next. Excellent job, X. I see why Zero counted on you. You are almost as good as a hunter as I was. But the time of your destruction has arrived. You shall regret ever having defied me. Really? Let's put that to the test now, shall we? Well, that didn't work. That's unfortunate. For Sigma Phase 2, you kind of want to wall jump like freaking crazy and pound him full of pellet lead. Regular shots are not really going to do it for... They're not really going to do you any sort of justice whatsoever, so you kind of have to stick with what you have. God damn it. I was hoping to finish him off with a Hadouken there. Anyway. Well, that didn't quite work out. This particular boss fight requires a ton of concentration. And it takes quite a bit of work in order to figure out this guy's attack pattern. It's pretty simple on paper, but actually managing to defeat him is another story altogether. This guy has two attacks. The first one is just wall jumping, like a freaking ninja. And the second one, he can charge at you with his lightsaber. And if he manages to hit you, my god, that does a shit ton of damage. How much exactly? I have no idea, but it can take up to about a fourth. And that's with the 50% reduction armor. So if I have to guess what the OG damage is, it's probably half. Like half of your health gone in one strike. But there we go. Sigma round 1 is down and out. Well, technically round 2, even so. Here we go. The final phase. The final phase of this fight is probably one of the more difficult phases, but I still find that the second phase is the most difficult of the 3. This one isn't as bad as say the first or as damn it. This phase is not as bad as phase 2, but it's still very bad, like comparable to phase 1. And the reason why is because any attacks that the Sigma manages to hit you with can take out a third of your health. And you can easily tell which attacks can do that when the eyes start blinking. The platforms, I think, can take about an eighth of your health. A good chunk, let me tell you. Now, when it comes to Sigma phase, this phase of Sigma, funny enough, he kind of looks like Fox McCloud in that pit, in that cockpit. How exactly? I have no idea. Pretty clever observation. Then again, he probably looks more like James McCloud from Star Fox. Anyway, if you want to deal significant damage against Sigma, or any damage whatsoever to Sigma whatsoever, there are only 2 weapons that can deal any sort of damage whatsoever. The first is a fully charged X-Buster shot. The second, and the more effective weapon of the 2, is the rolling shield. Just the standard rolling shield. Use the rolling shield, folks. This does way more damage and is way more effective. It can take out about 3 units of health from him for each strike you manage to land. And you can only land these strikes after you manage to ride the paws of this mechanical beast all the way to the very top. Be sure to jump off as soon as you reach your destination though, otherwise you will be in for a very, very nasty surprise. It can possibly shock you. But there we go. Sigma is now officially dead. No! It's not possible! I'm a Reploid! I can't be destroyed by you! Why, X? Why have you done this to us? Without the humans, my Reploid brothers could have ushered a new age. What new age is that? Nobody knows. But there we go. Sigma is down for the count. At least I hope he is, but given the fact that there are several more Mega Man X games, it's very likely he shall return. But we'll see for sure, momentarily. The war has ended. For now, peace has been restored. But those who sacrificed themselves for the victory will never return. Or so they say. Exhausted, X gazes at the destruction he helped cause and wondered why he chose to fight. Was there another way? Possibly, but Sigma's probably one of those people who has a one-track mind. Standing on the cliffs, the answers seem to escape him. He only knows that he'll fight the Mavericks again before he finds his answer. I was thinking I was gonna say true peace, but whatever. How long will we keep fighting? How long will we keep on fighting? How long will his pain last? Maybe only the X-Buster on his hand knows for sure. It's quite sad if you think about it. It's like X is just confused and it's like, what have I done? Was the choices I've made, were they really the right ones? Perhaps there was another way. Maybe we could have settled it via diplomacy or democracy. Maybe democracy could have kicked in, but sadly that's just not the case. I don't even know why, but perhaps democracy could have been the answer, but there we go. That's it. That's it, folks. That's the end of Mega Man X. After playing through this game again a few more times, I've definitely learned quite a lot about the game, and I've also learned quite a bit about myself. And I've also learned that games like this I should not take on blind, but in the end I am going to just say this. I'm going to be more careful when it comes to blind playthroughs from now on. If I'm going to try to do at least a little tiny bit of research when it comes to the game. Like, just to get to know the absolute basics of everything, like the plot synopsis of what's going on, why it's happening. And so, yeah, I'm going to be more careful with blind playthroughs from now on, so that way what happened last Sunday will not happen again. That way it'll be more genuine, true, and better overall, especially for someone like myself who really takes pride of being a gamer. And if you're really interested in viewing the stream from last Sunday, if you're interested at all, then I'm gonna leave a link to the stream within the chat, and if you're watching this on YouTube right now, then I'll just leave a link within the comments section and I'll pin it to the very top. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pick up the video link right here, and there we go. Got it. There you go, folks. There's the link for the from last week's stream. Last Sunday's stream, to be exact. But anyway, that's it, folks. If you want to view it and see how badly it was I cheated, you can go ahead and view it. I'm not uploading that particular stream to YouTube because of what I've said before. But I am going to keep it here on Twitch to serve as a reminder to myself. Say, don't do something like this again. Okay? Okay. I've definitely learned from my mistakes. And I've learned the lesson the hard way. That's for sure. So, I hope that this stream made up for what happened last weekend. I really hope it did. I'm glad to have played through this game, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing the rest of the series as well. Speaking of which, there's actually going to be a Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1 and 2 coming out this July. And I'm definitely going to try to pick up that particular collection so I can play the rest of the X games in the series. So anyway, you may be wondering, what happens now? Well, this is one of those games where you cannot return to the title screen no matter how hard you try. But, if you sit here for a while, a message will appear. How long does it take to display this message? If I have to guess, I'd say about 2 or 3 minutes, or right now. You have won a temporary victory, X. What you destroyed was only a temporary body. My spirit remains intact. In time, I will find other bodies strong enough to do my bidding, and I will return. I shall see you soon, X. Very soon. So, with that, that's Sigma's big message, hinting towards Mega Man X2, which is the sequel to Mega Man X. The next time I play a Mega Man X game, I'm definitely going to be playing X2. However, I'm not really planning on playing that particular game anytime soon. I'm going to wait to pick up the Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1 and 2, and I'm probably looking at picking up either the game on PS4 or Nintendo Switch. I'm going to say Nintendo Switch. I'm going to say PS4, actually. Maybe PS4 would be the better choice, as opposed to Nintendo Switch, because the Legacy Collection 2 is going to include the PS2 iterations of Mega Man X 5 through 8. And Mega Man X 1 through 4, I believe, are exclusive to the Super Nintendo. Then again, I think X4 is PlayStation exclusive. But anyway, that's Mega Man X, folks. That's the end of Mega Man X. And at this point, we cannot return to the title screen, so one more thing worth mentioning before I go. If you search for a password online that gives you all the abilities, it does not give you the Hadouken by any means. So that is still something you need to hunt down on your own. But anyway, I figure I mentioned that, and I'm going to bring this particular game to a close, but I'm going to keep the stream going. Because for a bonus stream, I'm going to go ahead and change titles and change games. So, there we go, folks. That's the end of this stream, at least for now. This is General Snivy with the Mega Man X playthrough. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you were able to attend the live stream live, thank you for attending. Next time, it's going to be a new game and a new adventure. As far as what that's going to be, I have a pretty good idea. I'm sitting on 2 ideas of 2 potential games, but whatever one I do, I will do the other, like, right after. As far as what those games are, I kind of want to keep it a surprise, but if you look at the poll that I posted a couple weeks ago, then you'll probably know what games I'm looking at. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. See you all later. And now it's time for the bonus stream. And so I'm going to go ahead and stop my recording here, and we're going to go ahead and continue. Gonna go ahead and continue, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and change games. As far as what?